Hi, you're listening to the Let's Talk About podcast. Hey y'all, and welcome back to the Let's Talk About podcast. I'm Mumbi Johnson, the host. If you're new here, and if you're not, thank you so much for coming back and joining me for another episode. So it's been a minute. I haven't been recording or filming anything just because of the fact that I've been so busy. I know I had said that after senior year ended, I would be back on my game, back on my grind, just like putting out episodes. But immediately after school ended, that week was prom. And then the following week was graduation. And then the day after graduation was Hawaii. And there was literally no time to just breathe, take a break. I was doing things back to back. So I wasn't able to sit down and put out an episode as I said I would. But I'm finally back. I'm finally making time to do this again. So a little bit about like where I've been, what I've been doing. As I said, I had prom, which was super fun. I also had graduation. So I graduated high school and I'm done. And now I'm an adult. Now I'm going to college, which is crazy to say, like, for this time, like, felt so far ahead, but it's here. It's in the present right now. So that's that. And then after graduation, I went to Hawaii with my school, or my school that I used to go to, with the music department, because our choir director is from Hawaii. And so it was kind of a very cultural trip. It was so much fun. It was also so packed full of things. Like, the itinerary was crazy. We performed at a church. We went to the Iolani Palace. We sang at the governor's office, which was very impromptu. Like, it just happened. We went to the beach. We ate a lot of good food. We met a lot of cool people. Had like speakers like Jamaica Osorio come and talk to us, which was an amazing experience. Lots of singing, lots of performing. We went to Pearl Harbor and the USS Missouri site. So there was just so much going on. I got to go with my friends. It was a really, really fun time. And yeah, you'll see on my YouTube channel, on my last episode of my senior year docuseries, you'll see the prom and graduation, which I'm currently editing, and it's super fun. But following that, you'll see the Hawaii vlog, which is also super fun. So life has just been really good. It's been really busy, but I'm so grateful. That's a little bit about my life. I don't want to get too much into it because I feel like I could talk for like 10 minutes just about things that have happened. I just feel really blessed at the moment. So yeah, I'll keep it at that. Today's episode is about becoming your own best friend and learning how to spend time being alone. And so there are two main reasons as to why I wanted to talk on the subject. One is being that I'm kind of an expert on it just because I am an only child, and throughout my life and my childhood, I had to find ways to entertain myself because I didn't have siblings to play with me all the time, or I couldn't always have play dates because the time doesn't work like that and people have their own things to do. So I just found ways to like be by myself, enjoy my own company, stuff like that. And then the second reason is that as I've been growing up, I've come to this realization that in the end, all you have is yourself, which is kind of like a morbid thought to think about. But it's important to know that if for whatever reason in your life that this may happen, if your friends leave your life, whether that's due to just friend breakups or friendships just not working out, maybe something happens, it's important that you maintain a healthy relationship with yourself and have a strong sense of self as well, being your own cheerleader, your biggest supporter, your provider, your nurturer. So that's the topic of today's episode, and let's just go right in and talk about it. So a lot of us have friends that we speak to often, and most of us know how to be good friends to other people by like exhibiting traits like being supportive, kind, and understanding. We know how to listen to others, which makes our friends feel understood, heard. And we also know how to be good cheerleaders for our friends and also sometimes be their voices of reason. So like, I will tell my friends if they should or should not do something, and I'll be their biggest cheerleader. I'll be like, yes, you can, girl. You can do this. You do you. Like, you got that in the bag, all that kind of stuff. But it's also important to ask yourself if you know how to be your own friend in the same ways that you're a friend to other people. Sometimes people, and I don't want to speak generally, but like sometimes some people are really good friends to others, but when it comes to treating their self with like the same sort of respect and energy, it doesn't always happen. And sometimes we can be too down on ourselves. Sometimes we can be really negative. And those things aren't really good when it comes to being your own friend. I mean, because there's been this quote that has been going around for years and years. If you can't be your own friend, how can you be a friend to others? Like something along the lines of that. But that really rings true because really, if you can't even be your own friend, are you truly being a good friend to others? It's also important to think about being your own best friend because you are the guaranteed best friend that you're going to have for life as long as you live. Because as I said, some friends may come and go, some relationships may come and go, but you will always be with yourself. So it's good to establish that strong sense of self and build a good relationship with yourself. And this is not to say that you shouldn't invest in building other relationships, whether that's romantic or friendship wise, or even family relationships, like bettering those relationships. Of course you should, because I mean, life is great with friends. I love my friends. I love my family. I don't know what I do without them. To be honest, like I make such great memories with both my family and my friends, and it's always a good time. I love being with my friends. I love hanging around with my friends, but I can't hang around my friends all the time, or I might not see all my family members all the time. So it's good to just like, be comfortable in my own skin, be nice to myself, to be my own supporter if no one else is there. If I have to do something that I'm a little scared about and no one else is there, like, cheer myself up, stuff like that. And growing and developing a friendship with yourself takes as much time as developing a relationship with someone else. Like you have to put in the energy. So as much as you put in the energy to like be friends with maybe your new roommate for college, you should try to put the same energy into like being nice to yourself, like being more positive towards yourself, doing things that you like to do, treating yourself with kindness. I just wanted to add that you should also work on respecting yourself and knowing what your boundaries are and acknowledging what those are and then setting those boundaries and not wanting less for yourself, always trying to be the best version of yourself to yourself and just really embody a lot of self-love practices and self-care and just knowing what you deserve and how much you are worth, knowing your self-worth and how much you are valued. Just things of this nature is super important to keep in mind when trying to better your relationship with yourself and honestly be your own best friend. And if you don't already have a great opinion about yourself to begin with, it might take even a little bit more effort to try and become a bigger supporter of yourself just because you don't believe that yet, or just that you don't have a good relationship with yourself already. And yeah, as I said before, it's learning how to treat yourself with kindness, with patience, care, and respect. I also want to add that therapy can be a great way to nurture this relationship with yourself and achieve that more positive outlook on yourself, because you can talk through some stuff that maybe you're struggling with, maybe limiting thoughts and beliefs that you have about yourself, things in that nature. And talking about those things can help you shift the way that you think about yourself. And so a little personal anecdote. As I said before, I'm an only child and I grew up primarily by myself, finding ways to play without others. So if anyone knows this topic well, it's me. As a child, I was always creative. I was always thinking about ways that I could have fun, even when other people weren't there to play with me. Like my parents weren't going to play dolls and tea time with me all the time because they had adult things to do. And frankly, I'm pretty sure they don't want to be playing with dolls and teacups. For me, I've always had a creative side. I used to build houses for my dolls and engage in role-playing activities like, making up little storylines, making little videos with my dolls and like making a fake TV show. I would always do arts and crafts that would entertain me for a while. I loved creating stuff, whether that be with clay, crayons, pencils, markers, coloring, stuff like that. I always like to read. Reading is a great way to spend time. It's very productive, but it can also be very leisurely and fun. I loved playing games. I feel like games are just like a universal thing. Everyone loves games. If you don't love games, then sure. But I love puzzles. I love playing games. And when there wasn't a person I could play games with, I would play the single player game. So that was very useful on my little DS, just playing games by myself. Making music, I love singing, I love writing lyrics. So as a young adult, which is really weird to say right now, I'm not exactly playing with dolls anymore because I grew out of that phase, but there are ways to like implement play as an adult, which I'll talk about a little bit later in this episode, which is kind of related to like being your own best friend and engaging in things that you like to do. So now moving on to ways that you can become your own best friend. Journaling. I've talked about journaling so much on this podcast. It's a powerful tool for self-improvement and documenting a progress, a journey, anything of that sort, just documenting life, your thoughts. It's really useful because you can get to know yourself through journal entries and prompts, or free writes, if you will. Comparing this like relationships with others, when we make friends with other people, we strive to get to know them better and we see what their interests are, what they like to do, what they want to do in their future, they like to eat, all this kind of stuff, where they like to go, where they want to travel. And sometimes we know more about our friends and other people than we truly know about ourselves. I'm not saying that you don't know yourself, but through journaling, through prompts, you'll start to realize certain things about yourself, maybe that you didn't really realize that are hidden in your subconscious mind, like beliefs that you might have. Journaling will help to reveal the concealed parts of us, which is crucial in understanding like complex truths about ourselves and why we act certain ways. But also through journaling, you can record your own goals. You can write down how you feel about something or someone. You can also put positive notes or words of encouragement to help uplift you, to help make you feel supported by yourself. You know, you're telling yourself all these things that like maybe you would tell a friend if they were going to take a big test the next day, you know, like really just being an encouraging source to yourself. And that leads me into the second thing, being your own cheerleader. We are so quick to tell someone else they can do something. Like I mean, I can say that this happens to me all the time. Like with my friends, I'm like, yes, you can do that. Go for it. You do this, you do that. Like you're gonna be amazing. Stuff like that. But sometimes when you think about yourself, you don't have the same attitude. So being your own cheerleader is key in becoming your own best friend, because as I said before, you can be kind and encouraging to yourself. You can compliment yourself, make yourself feel valued and appreciated, and just speaking to yourself the same way you would speak to your friends. And you wouldn't put down your friend. I would hope that you wouldn't put down your friends, because that's not being a good friend. So don't put yourself down. Do everything in your power to uplift yourself. Now, this is where like play as an adult comes in. You can spend quality time with yourself doing a hobby that you like. So we are in our daily lives, we are busy. I relate to that. I'm so busy all the time. And we're always preoccupied with like doing something productive, having productive days in our life. Oftentimes that can lead to like being even more stressed. Putting aside time and spending quality time by yourself while doing something that you like to do gives you time to focus and reflect, and also to clear your mind. So that's perfect because we're in like this in this season of like hobby girl spring and summer. It's not spring anymore. It's hobby girl summer. So we can start implementing like hobbies and play as an adult or a teenager if you are still younger, whatever age you are. If you're not like a very young kid, if you feel like you're at a more mature stage in life where you're not playing with dolls or things like that, you can start implementing play as a teen or an adult. So if you like being crafty, you can look into maybe more advanced craft situations, like maybe taking a ceramics class or doing a painting on a canvas. You know, playing video games is universal. I feel like everyone loves playing video games or just games in general. As I said before, you can invest into some classes, whether that's cooking, acting, makeup classes, dance classes. You can do gardening. So like if as a child you like playing with dirt and grass and just like getting your hands in nature, you can do gardening. And I feel like that's a more adult activity instead of playing in the dirt. I mean, I guess still quote unquote play. If you liked running around playing tag or just being really active as a child, you can do exercise, different modes of exercise, maybe biking, climbing. Like if you like to climb trees, you can do some rock climbing. That's not the same thing at all. Or, you know, like what do you call that? Like parkour. If you liked building stuff, like I still love building Legos. I'm not even gonna lie about that. Like if I want, like I will go to the store and buy a Lego set. I love building things. I love being crafty, but there are adult miniature sets that you can buy online that are like way more sophisticated, but still have that same sort of building element to it. So you're kind of getting the same energy from it. Yeah, so there's all these ways that you can implement play as an adult or as a teen or as just an older person. And yeah, I feel like I will definitely be doing those things because I love to do hobbies. I love to just engage in things that make me happy. The next thing is solo dates. So lots of people have heard of solo dates, it's basically where you do things alone. And this is especially a good idea if you live in an area that has lots to do. So New York City has lots to do. My friend Coco does this in places all around New York City. She's a little city girl. And from her Instagram stories and posts, she seems to be having a very fun time just spending time by herself, discovering new places like cafes, bookstores, you name it, just taking walks. Like it seems like she's really comfortable, just being by herself, having that sense of security by herself. And I know that it can be hard for some people to feel confident about doing activities on their own. But the plus side is that you don't have to worry about being a good date or ensuring that your friend or your partner is having a good time or trying to make the situation more than what it is. Like you're just with you, and you should try and feel comfortable with that fact. Like all you got to worry about is you. Like if you're hungry, go get a snack. If you are thirsty, go grab some water. Are you not having a good time? Just leave the situation. Like there's no pressure, I feel like, when you're going on solo dates, except for the fact that you might think other people are looking at you weird because, oh my God, like why is she sitting there by herself? But honestly, I feel like people have better things to do than worry about what you're doing on an outing by yourself. For solo dates, the goal is just to do something that you enjoy doing and making yourself happy. And the thing is, sometimes your friends might not be able to make it to certain activities that you want to do. Like maybe your schedules don't line up, but you guys want to see a movie. Literally me and my friend group, because we were trying to find a time to watch The Little Mermaid. Every time I suggested a date, at least one or two people could not come. We're still working on that. But I mean, I want to see it with my friends because we had talked about seeing it together. But like in another example, like if you wanted to go shopping, if they can't make it, you can still go shopping for whatever it is you want, right? And in another case, like what you want to do might not be what another person or your friend or partner wants to do. So are you just not going to do it because you have no one to go with? Like you should just do it because it makes you feel happy and content. And practicing being alone helps you learn how to enjoy your own company. The next thing I want to talk about is having gratitude for yourself. I made a whole episode about gratitude and just like how it changes your perspective on life and just everything around you. Even my dad was talking about, like, because yesterday I was having dinner with my dad and we were eating our salad, and I was talking about how I didn't want to go to the doctor today because I had to get shots. Like I got my blood test and then I got 2 shots on both my arms. So my arms are a little bit sore right now. But I was telling him yesterday how I was dreading getting shots because I really don't like them. Even though they're not that bad. They're not that bad. I just don't like being poked. But I was telling him how I didn't want to go. But he's like, you should just be grateful that you have a doctor to go to, that you can go to the doctor. And then immediately when he said that, I was like, yeah, you're right. Because some people don't have a doctor they can go to, or they can't afford to go to the doctor. They can't afford an appointment. So that's just about gratitude. But having gratitude for yourself helps to change your perception and your relationship with yourself. So it helps you to shift your mindset and be kinder and shift away from like negative and destructive thoughts that can hurt your relationship with yourself, your friendship with yourself. And ways you can do this is by focusing on what you have as an individual, what you can control, and what makes you you, and focusing on your gifts and strengths. Like what can you value and appreciate about yourself? Maybe it's the fact that you're able-bodied, because not everyone is. Maybe it's the fact that you're a good storyteller. Maybe it's the fact that you have a lot to say on your mind and people engage with what you say. So just having gratitude with different aspects about yourself, really just picking out the good things and not the bad things. The next thing in being your own best friend is responding to your needs. You and you only are the only person that is really going to understand you. So assessing what it is that you need from yourself, whether that's more positive encouragement, whether that's to put some time aside just to breathe, to relax, whatever it may be. And the reason that friendships make us so happy is because they help us meet our needs. Because friends are supposed to be there for you emotionally, supportively, socially. So what it is that you need to do is ask yourself, what do you need? Is it a pep talk? Is it rest? Rest is so important. If you need rest, if you don't want to go to that party because you're just so tired or you're so stressed, let yourself rest. Let you determine what you need. And that's how you can better a relationship with yourself and just really know what you need. And then the last thing that I wanted to say on this topic is that it's not selfish to be your own best friend. Being kind to yourself is not selfish. And you should be able to take care of your needs without any judgment. If you need rest, no one should be judging you for the fact that you need rest. In some ways, you're going to have to put yourself first because no one else is going to do that. I mean, they might, but like, really, you got to put yourself first sometimes in certain situations. You know that, like, I forgot what video it was, but it was Taraji P. Henson. She's like, I gotta put me first. It was like a TikTok audio. I don't remember, but it was really funny. Anyways, but sometimes you got to put yourself first if you realize like, oh, the situation is just like not it. Like, I got to think about what I need as an individual. And it's also part of self-care. It's part of self-love, which is something I try to advocate for on this podcast so much. It's not selfish to be your own best friend. So just let that be the takeaway from today's episode. These are basically all the tips that I have on becoming your own best friend and ways to spend time alone and just really be comfortable in your own skin. Be comfortable with saying yes to certain things or maybe saying no to certain things. Because I feel like once you better the relationship with yourself, you can start being an even better friend, an even better daughter, son, sister, brother, partner to whoever it is. Because you know what you need, you value yourself, and now you have even more value to give to others. So with that, we've come to the end of this episode. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I really did enjoy filming and creating and planning out this episode. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any episodes that you want me to film, you can DM the podcast Instagram, which is let's_talk_about podcast. You can check out my YouTube channel, my main YouTube channel, the podcast YouTube channel. Thank you so much again for listening. And I love all of you. And I'll talk to you guys very, very soon. Bye.